What is shadow work? Let's talk about it. Now, you see, life nowadays is very good at making us focus on the positive without actually looking at the negative. You see things like Instagram, you see things like social media in general that are all about presenting a facade or an idea about what your life looks like without it being the actual expression of what your life really is. When we focus only on what's good in our lives without actually acknowledging the things that are tough and the things that are negative, then we create, I like this, I heard it just today, we create our persona. We create something that isn't necessarily us, but is simply what we show to the world around us. It's the character that we play without actually feeling comfortable in our own skin. It's an identity that we've created for ourselves that doesn't truly align with how we're actually feeling. Shadow work is the process of actually looking at those things that hurt us. It's the process of actually diving deep into those spaces that are kind of hidden in the shadows, and it's bringing those things up and out and to light so that way we can process them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get better right away, but at the very least, by acknowledging it, we give ourselves the opportunity to examine it, to find the root of the behavior, to not just look at the symptoms, but actually look at the cause. And sometimes the cause is even deeper than we can even imagine. Taking a look at our shadow is, we tend not to. But I guess if there's one thing we can learn is that when the sun's out, our shadow still follows us everywhere. Our shadow isn't something we can escape. It's something that simply exists. And we can either choose to pretend it's not there, or we can come to terms with it. And if not even just come to terms with it, but we can accept it, and we can understand it, and we can love it, and we can cherish it, and we can live a more whole life rather than only looking at one side of ourselves and saying, this is what I like, but I don't like that, and therefore I have to reject it. Well, if it's still who you are, then I'm sorry, but you can't necessarily reject it. It's just who you are. You gotta learn to love it. And maybe by loving it, it then becomes a behavior that you can learn how to let go of, by all means. But rejecting it and pushing it away doesn't do anything about it. Just like, when I sat in my fears about being here and I guess putting myself on camera and putting myself out there, when I sat in those fears, finding ways around it and avoiding it it didn't actually change the root of the problem. It just made my problem worse. And, I could still here and there post a smiley photo, but didn't mean I was all there. Didn't mean I was all happy. Didn't mean it was all rainbows and sunshine. But by acknowledging it, by respecting my fears, by loving myself through my fears, and realizing that fears are only normal and instead they're actually what in some ways guide us and push us towards growth. By finding that space, it becomes much easier. It doesn't become easy, but it becomes much easier at the very least to take those risks and to become comfortable being uncomfortable and to just embrace the wholeness that is you from both sides, from both the left and the right, to bring everything together as your identity and truly who you are as the sovereign being that you are. So let me know what you think. What's shadow work to you? How does shadow work for you? Do you have any specific techniques that you use to sort of figure out what is in your shadow? Like, comment, subscribe, get engaged, get involved with the Studio Raphael community. I love having you here. I love being here. I love doing all this. I love figuring this out. For me, this is a process, and it's exciting because it pushes me to look at the spots of myself that are still in fear, to look at the spots of myself that are still scared to bring forward what it is that I desire to say and what it is that I desire to share. So my name's Aiden. Thanks for being here. This is Studio Raphael, and I look forward to seeing you around. Take care.